Welcome back to Space Engineers, and we've done a little bit of an extension to our craft off the camera, which is to say I've put in a couple of hydrogen tanks and I've linked them through to obviously the reactor, but not that we need that explicitly, it's just a handy point to put a junction, and down and into the O2 generators, the hydrogen and O2 generators there. And I've put this just armor on the bottom just so that we can land on when we're on the surface. We don't need explicit landing gear or anything like that, so this just serves to protect the bottom of this craft a little bit as we go up. Otherwise the craft's the same, except that we have, if I just have a look in here, we've got some components, so enough to maybe build the start of a base up there wherever we decide to go. I've also added an oxygen bottle to my inventory because, well, unlike down here, I can't have my mask open. That's press J. So, yeah, I will have to remember to do that. Lastly, what I wanted to do is just make sure I build a detector on this thing, because we're probably going to have to use it, at least to start with, to to detect some ores and see what we can find up there. Doesn't much matter where we put this. Is there a place to put this that makes a little bit of sense? Needs steel plate. Okay, well, let's just grab some of you. And why don't we put it on the front, pointing down, and then maybe we should put a couple of lights in then, but that won't be very much effort. So let's just grab a couple of spotlights, let's say, put them there, and rotate them forward. Rotate them forward again. So interior plates, construction components, fair enough, and computers, motors, construction components. Do we have any left? Yep, we got motors, computers, construction components, and let's just fill the rest of that in. We just need detector components. So detector components are these. Only a little bit left, but should be enough for this craft. There we go. And I suppose we can take some of those things with us. Not that I need them excessively. So time to get in, and hopefully this thing will still take off. Let's turn on our atmospheric thrusters. Will it take off? Interesting, because we've only got 4 of them. No, nope. Fine. Will it take off if I give it a bit of a boost? It will, and fairly slowly though. So this is the slight problem with adding these tanks. They're quite heavy. So if I turn this off, will you... Oh no, it's slowly decelerating. So it's only just very close to getting us off the surface. However, that's fine. We can just make sure that we have our dampeners, well, not dampeners, but we have our speed raised using the hydrogen, and we can just cut them off periodically. It will start decreasing, of course, but we should have nice amounts of momentum that won't be much of a problem. Anyway, I'm going to head up there now, and I'll see you in outer space. Ooh, remember to press J to turn on your internal tanks. Or at least when you're ready to get out of the ship, you are. Alright, see you up there. Okay, the struggle to get up here was definitely real, and the additional weight here is just the main cause. You'll see I'm burning both up with space and forward with W. That means when I'm angled at a 45-degree angle, I'm sort of applying both sets of thrusters, and that helps us just get up and out of the atmosphere. Just pushing forward with 3 at the back wouldn't work, and the atmospheric thrusters at this point have given up the ghost long ago. So we've turned those off already. So if I just keep pushing forwards, we're well out of the atmosphere now, hopefully, and we can continue outward. So we're going to have to look for a new home. We definitely want to go to the moon at some point, and what I'm not sure is how far that is away from us at the moment. Let's turn our dampeners off and let's see if we're being pulled back. We are. Okay, so we're still not quite out of the atmosphere just yet. You can see we still have a horizon somewhere. There it is. So is it 20k before we leave the atmosphere? Or at least before it counts as not being near the planet? Not sure. I'll keep going until we get out into space. And it was more like 40,000, not 20,000, which has now got me up and out of the atmosphere. My dampeners are off, which means I'm no longer using hydrogen. However, I did use 20k of ice getting up here, even with the tanks. So what have we got over there? I don't want to get near a Cerberus destroyer, thank you very much. So I want to head over here somewhere. Maybe let's see if we can find an asteroid that we can use to refuel. Maybe that's bluish. That's probably cobalt, but maybe worth checking for ice regardless. Let's just use this to change our trajectory, turn our dampeners back on, and once the there we go. Once the once the perpendicular thrusters stop thrusting, you know you're on track towards that particular object. So in our case, please don't be coming to hunters. Let's head for this asteroid. And the first asteroid was a bit of a bust, to be honest. However, I came back to this second one. Obviously, this is not going to get pulled back towards the planet now. If I just move that around the ship, you'll see the moon's right there, so we can be heading towards the moon next. This is a handy refill stop on the way, and of course we're going to need probably to put more thrusters on this at some point, so having more ores up here is good. So as normal, this is ice on this particular roid, so let's just grab you. Yep. And we should be able to refill. You'll see my inventory's filling up. I should be able to hold around 10,000 ice, I think, in my inventory before I need to do anything, which is good because I only need about 3 times that to really sort of fill up one of those generators, and you know, so we could get up to, I don't know, maybe 50k ice, something like that, and that will refill our tanks quite nicely. Although of course we probably want something a bit more sustainable going forward to get up off the planet, so, or rather to oh no, we're full. Let's head back over here. How much did I pick up in the end? 8.18k, because I've not unloaded these components. So let's get rid of these components first of all, and let's just then load up the ice into our system. So components can go there. Yeah, it'd be nice if it auto stacked, but that's not it's no problem. And then let's get the ice. Oh, that's much more comfortable. Okay, I'm going to keep filling up, and then we'll head over to the moon, and I'll join you back there to see if we can start roving across its surface once I've got enough, supplies. And here we are approaching the moon. We've not got caught by gravity. Oh no, there's the gravity. 0.05, 0.06, that's increasing. We've now got a horizon, of course. However, our horizon is, well, let's actually just slow down. Our horizon is only 2,000 above the ground, so obviously much smaller sort of capture area than the planet. And have we stopped? Yes. So as you might imagine, 10% of Earth's gravity means that we can stop quite effectively with our existing thrusters. However, we are 1,700 meters up, so we need to go lower to investigate, so we can just turn our dampeners off and the gravity will pull us in, hopefully fairly gently. And now we need to go and have a look for some ore patches and see if we can find anything suitable. Ideally, obviously platinum. That would be very, very nice. And I need to make sure we don't crash. So I'm going to go and concentrate for a little while and then head over land and see if we can find any ore patches. Okay, so here we are on the lunar surface. I'm in a small crater that's got ice surrounding it, which is ideal because I need to refuel again. I've been having a look around, and you can see, if I just look in my inventory and GPS, I found a few spots of ore, iron, cobalt, nickel, magnesium, and silver. I haven't found platinum. So I was hoping to be able to put down the first sort of base on the moon near the platinum, but I haven't found it yet. So I'm going to probably have to put down near the iron, nickel, and cobalt just so I can get this episode out. And then we'll have to start exploring outwards from there to try and find platinum in between building up a nice base down here on the moon. Whoops, let's just get a full inventory. There we go. And yeah, quickly, even though the gravity is not as great here on the moon as it is on Earth over there, it is still very taxing for these hydrogen thrusters. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. I didn't need to get in. I actually need to unload into the O2 generators. So yeah, let's just make sure that they have. See, you're down to 3k and 2k. That's only from around, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe, flying around, looking for more ore patches. Look very much like the ones on Earth. just very light. It's like a speckling of dark patches, sort of like a cheetah's hide or yeah, something like that, sort of leopard spots, that kind of thing on the surface. When you get close enough, and just get close enough with your ore detector and you'll see them. I'll show you obviously when we're going to put down on our base. Let's just make sure I get another sort of load full of ice. So yeah, what I wanted to ask you was, while I was going gathering all this fuel, was just wanting to see what you wanted to see from a moon base. Oh, I've got it in again. Oh. What you wanted to see from moon base. Obviously, we need a lot of the infrastructure that we've already got on Earth, so we have to reproduce a lot of that. However, doesn't mean we have to do it the same way. In particular, soon enough, we're going to need lots of refineries or lots of assemblers, but certainly refineries first, because they're quite slow. And having them work in parallel will be an important thing. So again, we'll use those yield modules. We'll get those to give us more metals from our ores. But at the same time, what we may want to do is have, I don't know, maybe one for iron and one for cobalt, etc. Beyond a certain point, it's, you know, there's just no cost to them. So you may as well have them running in parallel. And then you can always be sure that it's restocking the base. Now, I think what I'll also do from this point, and this again up for debate, and people can obviously, maybe you want to suggest the best mods, because that's what I was about to suggest, is that I probably want to start adding mods at this point. There's lots of nice ones, certainly scripts that can help manage inventory. I think one's called TIM, or was called TIM. I'm not sure if that's still around. There's plenty of others. So if you have a specific mod you think would be useful to add, do let me know in the comments and let other people know. I'm sure people will have a debate backwards and forwards about what's terrible and what is perhaps pretty good. We'll see. So let's just get a bit more ice, and then we'll head over towards that base, well, towards that ore patch. I'll see if there's anything more in between here and there, and maybe we'll find platinum. Even gold would be good, because we've already got silver. That's pretty good that we can get reactor components now, pretty much, up here if we need them. I did bring a batch of 100, so we can build a large reactor just fine. And yeah, so let's see you over there. That's what I was looking for, just an ore patch, just to show you what it looks like on the moon. It used to look different to this prior to the, it was just a solid dark patch prior to the graphics overhaul. So it looks like they've done this in the meantime. So let's just go and see what this one is. I haven't been here before, so it's probably iron or something really common, but you never know. It's worthwhile like inspecting just to see. And then of course we can drop in some waypoints. That's how far from the ground are we? 15 meters. Okay, we should be close enough if there was any ore here. Honestly, this should be an ore patch. So we should be able to see something somewhere. Let's get a bit closer maybe to the ground. Ah, there we go. Iron. Yep, pretty common stuff. No real need to mark that other than to exclude it, I guess. But no, let's carry on heading over towards our... Ooh, is that more ore over there? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. That does look like an ore patch. So let's go and take a look at that one. Takes a bit of finesse, even though we're under gravity. You can't just completely rely on your thrusters, because you are going to get dragged down regardless if you have your dampeners off. If you have your dampeners on, it uses more fuel, so, you know, you got to take it where you can get it. Let's head down. And head forward. Anything decent here? Iron. Anything other than iron here? Oh, a nickel, iron, cobalt. So that's not much different to that other point that I've got over there that's 4 kilometers away. And to be honest, it doesn't really much matter where we put down, except that point over there. I mean, there is some ice here, but that is in an icy region, that other point. It's 4 kilometers away. It's on the far side, well, just a little bit over here. A lot of the ground itself is ice over there, so that will make sure that we have more than enough fuel when we need to refill our craft. So on over. And the other choice, of course, is that we come back out here and choose an asteroid as a base. Actually more convenient and much more fuel efficient. For example, this is how we used to have the game. We used to have roids only, no planets. And we liked it. Well, actually, we complained a lot and wanted planets, but don't worry about that for now. So there are plenty of asteroids up here between the Earth and the Moon. Hopefully one of them will have platinum. One of the biggest disadvantages on the Moon is I don't have any large ship detectors. So that means stuff that's buried deep I just can't see, which isn't great. And hopefully that private sail is not gonna... What the... What? What? Okay, the game has no bugs whatsoever. Occasionally we get solar panels, but other than that, it's fine. So that private sail is one of the easiest craft to go after, but I don't have any guns or anything on this, so I'm not going to go after it. But we will later when we get to building fighters, and that will mean we probably want large ion thrusters before we get to that point. However, I'm going to keep surveying these asteroids. I am sort of running out of time with this episode, really. I've had to do a lot of surveying today. That means I've not been doing a lot of building, unfortunately. I do like to do building in the episodes and mining in between. However, you know, I suppose it's good to have a different kind of episode once in a while. I know a couple of you have been asking for sort of exploring mining kind of episodes. Don't know. I'm not sure if my particular commentary is interesting enough for me to do that long term. However, that looks like gold, not nickel, which will be a good thing. Having a gold asteroid up here, and that private sail is still coming in. That's fine. So there's iron there, there's gold. Is that cobalt or is it ice? Probably cobalt or magnesium, something like that. Let's have a look. So iron, obviously it's picking up now. Let's head a little bit further in. You do look like gold. Yep, gold. Good. And what are you? You cobalt? Get a bit closer. Cobalt. Good. So iron, gold, cobalt. Fine. So there's lots of asteroids next to each other around here that we could use. Ooh, is that nickel? That's usually nickel, that kind of color. Let's have a look. As a base, because we can build inside them. That does mean we're also protected from the meteor strikes. Let's get closer. It's hard to judge inside these asteroids. They're quite large, but they just don't seem like it. So yeah, there's nickel. So this one is quite a good candidate. We've got quite a few. What is it with that solar panel? Really? So we've got quite a few candidate ores out here. The other thing you can also do is just get out and go exploring a little bit. I don't have a beacon on that craft, so I don't want to leave it too far away. However, we can just have a look around and see if we can find anything else before we sort of build something. I'm not quite sure. Well, I may have to build between the episodes. It'll just be putting in a refinery, so there won't be anything exciting about it. I do want to find platinum, though. It's really annoying that I can't find it. Are you just rock? You are just rock. Fine. It's just funky coloured rock. Fair enough. So, onward. Carry on exploring. What's that you say? He's found platinum, you say? Yes, that looks exactly like what we found. Again, random asteroid. No rhyme or reason. And that looks like a very small patch. I don't want to waste any of that whatsoever. So, I guess that's a good point to start thinking about putting a base. This asteroid is actually quite small. It's not very big at all. It does have ice. It does have iron. Both of those are good things. And sort of midway between the planets. It doesn't have gold, I don't think. Well, unfortunately, you know, you can't have everything. But, we've got iron. Have we got anything else around here? It's just rock. And it's just rock on the outside, it looks like. Yeah. Be nice if there's uranium as well, although I have actually found uranium. Let me show you how many asteroids I've gone through so far. So there's 4 there. This is the 5th one. There's also a 6th and a 7th that I didn't actually mark at all. I should have done, but I didn't. So yeah, 1 in 7 or 8. Didn't seem too bad. Would have been nicer to find it on the moon's surface, but no real problems there. So I guess we've got to start thinking about putting down some tracks in here. Maybe if we sort of leave it near this end. The main thing, of course, we will need some power sooner or later. And that power is ideal if it comes from the sun, which means we probably need to stick a boom out of one end of this thing and put solar panels onto it. So it doesn't much matter which orientation we go for, because I'll be using jetpacks anyway. So whatever sort of presents a flat surface-ish. This seems like a decent flat surface, so I just want to reorient things. Let me actually go and grab some iron plate, and we'll put down, well, I was going to say it puts down some roots, but not really too much in this case. Let's just get that. There we go. So now we can put something down wherever we want. In this case, light armor block. Can we tilt it and get it to the right size rather than a small block? That seems reasonable. Let's go with that. So there's our first block. Obviously, not very good beginnings, but you know, you've got to start somewhere. And it's easy to place, of course, these partially built blocks, which helps us put down a platform. That will also mean we're going to need a gravity generator sooner or later. And we are going to want a boom coming out this way. Because the power gets transmitted through these grids. So as long as it heads out into the sunlight somewhere. There we go. So let's just head backwards. Of course, if that gets hit by a meteor storm, then there goes our, oops, there goes our power source, but other than that, I'll be fine. Now, there will be times perhaps when the sun will go behind the asteroid, so we do need to consider that part of it, but I'm not quite sure where the solar track, oh, there it is. You can see it's just going left to right now, so it will go behind the asteroid and come back around this way, but there shouldn't be much occlusion going on. So that's fine. Probably means we should put down our solar panels at some point. For now, however, hopefully we're not going to get at any point where we're going to get meteors coming in here, but if we do, we'll cope with it. And let's just have a think about what we need to put down. First, probably want to put a refinery. I keep on wanting to... I've got no gravity generator. I keep on wanting to turn my jetpack off to walk around. That might be another thing for us to do, so that we effectively have a gravity-filled base. There we go. And yeah, so let me put a couple of things down. Okay, so we've got some power up, but it seems I miscounted. I thought I put in a lot more steel plates than that. I haven't. Unfortunately, the refinery happens to be a bit of a steel plate hog. If we have a look here, we need 1,200 steel plates. So we're going to have to come back to the planet anyway. So we're going to need to probably take some ore down with us to the planet down there, and then we can bring some stuff back up. We can then retrofit our ship with ion thrusters, and we may well only need forward and back-ish. At the moment, we're sort of short on hydrogen thrusters for a descent. We barely got up or out of this planet's surface, so one of the things we could do here is just augment this. I'm not sure if I have thruster components, actually. Do we need that for this? No. No, we don't. I think we have all the other stuff, so we can build in more thrusters here. What we probably want to do is add them to the front so we can decelerate quicker. So maybe we go for that. So let's just get the conveyor first of all. The small conveyors. Oh, I've already got that. That's fine. And have I got thrusters? No, I don't have thrusters. So hydrogen thrusters can go there. And maybe if we just replace these with the junctions. So if we just go for junction conveyors, that is. Yeah. Need some construction components. But that's not much of a problem. There we go. So we have room for 2 more on the front and the back. So I think probably we want to probably do that both sides. So let's just put in some here as well. There we go. They should all be available, and then we can stick the thrusters onto the front of those. So one there, one there, one there, one there. Oops, steel plate more. That's fine. Let's grab some more steel plates. Okay, so we need large steel tubes and metal grids, but I brought those as well, so that's not a problem. Large steel tubes. I need to get rid of some stuff out of my inventory, don't I? Large steel tubes, metal plates, metal grids even. Okay, so you'd hope that 7 of these would be enough to stop us on our way down. I hope. And once the atmospheric thrusters can kick in, we can then land properly. So if we're going to do that, however, I want to take some platinum with us, and it depends how much I can fit in the cargo cans, really. So let's just pop this all back in here for a second. We've got room for about 20,000 litres, 30,000. So I'm just going to take a little bit. Enough to fill my inventory twice, I think, maybe. If this is the platinum, or is it around here somewhere? There you are. So don't miss any of this. Ow. Is there a way to turn off these floating, non-existing things? These are just a visual effect, but they look identical to the bits that do actually fly off that you do actually need to catch. If there's any way to turn those off, do let me know in the comments. I don't like them. There you go. As you can see, it's not actually filling up my inventory very quickly. Make sure I've got it all in a second. So if we'll have a look in here, so platinum 2.64k, not very much at all. I think next time I come up, I may well just rig a couple of drills onto the front of our craft. I suppose I could do it now. We don't really have space for them though, or into the system. They'd have to come off the front here, I guess. They might fit. Whether we should or not. Should we? Drills? Even one would do the job. So let's have a look. We don't need an ore detector, do we? What size is the drill? That's pretty big. Let's just turn it that way. So I'll take you off and replace you with the junction again. Interior plates and construction components. Okay. Interior plates. Construction components. And let's just make sure I put some of that ore away. Nice and safe. Well, safe-ish unless we crash. That always happens at some point. There we go. How about the drill now? Can we get away with the drill? I just don't want to waste this, but it's always worth trying, that kind of thing. We need steel plate. Is that all? Let's just grab that. Let's make sure I've got lots of other bits and pieces in my inventory to finish that off with. There we go. Okay, will you build a drill now? You will. Okay. The ship is dodgier by the day. The ship can do everything. We just keep adding blocks. There's no problem. Just add more blocks. Yeah, I'm not sure how heavy these are, and that's maybe a problem when we come in for landing, but we'll see. Turn. Nope, turn that way. Yeah. Okay. We have drills. I'm going to need to add them to a group, aren't I? So if I just... in fact, no, not group. I can just use your left click, so weapons and tools. Drills, let's put you there, and that should let me work. Yep. So now we should be able to fill with platinum. Once we get close enough, there we go. All right, there we go. More platinum. We may get a crossover pattern here. The main problem is because they're quite far apart. And if they... Well, no. They seem to be able to do okay between them. Yep, that's fine. Ish. I can always move left and right to clear that pattern out between them. We just don't want that to drive right into the middle of us. If we just go into the front view, you'll see that we're sort of drilling away. It's not too bad. Okay, how much has that actually put into my inventory already? Cockpit. Oh, it's only it's only available in the cockpit. Can I drag it into the... Oh, I can. That's fine. So we've got 16,000 platinum. That's actually plenty, I think, for this stage of the game. However, I'm going to take a bit more. Let's just get about 20k, something like that. Yeah. There you go. So at least you've had a mining episode this time. And we've upgraded our ship with tanks and drills, so this is quite a little bit of a capable ship now, except for the fact that it's still running on hydrogen. I only really want hydrogen for the ascent engines. Technically, you can get out of the atmosphere using both atmospheric thrusters and ion thrusters, but I wouldn't want to chance it. You'd have to have a lot to actually to counteract things. So let's take a look at this. Okay, so we've got 10k in the drill again, so that's 26k. That's more than enough for me. So we're going to back out. We've got a GPS point for this asteroid. Exactly what we want. And let's head out and head back to the surface. And hopefully we don't have a few problems like crashing. I haven't upgraded the thrusters behind the ship, of course, only in front. And we're going to be pointing downwards, of course. Just, you know, just for a bit of extra challenge. All right, is that the home base there? I assume it is. Let me just turn on one of the GPS mod coordinates. So silver, that one I know is near home. So is that silver? Yeah, so that's exactly where our base is right there. We probably want to come in overhead so we can just turn off our dampeners, accelerate to full, and then coast in, because we'll be coasting in at maximum speed, so there's no reason to keep on pushing forward. So there we go, full speed. I'm gonna even turn off the thrusters at this point, even though, you know, it's just deciding to oh no, hang on, they're not in the group, so they're gonna stay on. Interesting. So I may have to recreate that group. Anyway, back towards the planet. Hopefully there won't be much of a collision. And I'll finish up the episode once we get back closer to the surface, ready to make some stuff with platinum. And with the front thrusters firing at full, we're able to come to a halt just before hitting the planet's surface, which is good. We'll need to think about some more upgrades later to the other thruster systems so that we can not have a bit of a panic there to do that. However, as you can see, our atmospheric thrusters are keeping us off the ground now, along with the hydrogen thrusters, of course, and we can come in for a landing, and that will let us then start processing platinum. More importantly, that lets me... let's just make sure we slow down with the front thrusters. Yep, this thing is very, very close to its weight limit, so don't go down too fast if you're following along with this build. Just a thought. Anyway, we've now got platinum, and we can then use that next episode to start building some ion thrusters onto this thing, or indeed another craft entirely. Not quite sure yet. I'm sure you guys will have all kinds of comments to mention about how I can improve this thing. We'll see. But otherwise, we've now discovered all the metals, I think, in the game that we actually want, and that brings us to an end for this episode. So platinum hunting success. We've got the start of a base up there, but we're going to need a little bit more in the way of steel plate and other components, perhaps, to get us started. All right. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe, share as normal, and we'll see you next time for some more. Hey, is that damage to my base caused by a meteor? See what there's right there? Yeah, I think that's some kind of damage. I didn't do it. Anyway, this is the end of the episode. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.